Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Birdie Norris, the admissions here at Troy University, here to talk about Impact, summer orientation. Thanks for joining me here today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. We're excited for another summer, to have lots of our new students. This is, sometimes for students, one of the first times that they're ever on campus, especially if maybe they hadn't decided where they wanted to go to school yet. This is the first time that they're coming to their campus as, an official Troy Trojan. They're interested in Troy. They're ready to be here. So it's always a really fun and exciting summer.
And the Impact orientation sessions, obviously, you just mentioned there, the first chance for some of these students to kind of feel at home. Mm-hmm. And I know one of the main parts of Impact, and especially working with the leaders, is to give them that great first impression. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've been training them and teaching all the Impact leaders the best way to communicate and facilitate conversations with the leaders, with the students, and just letting them know, all the information they need to know. I kind of, when talking with students, explaining what orientation is, I call it Troy Boot Camp. This is where you're coming in and you're getting the bare bones of what you need to know in order to survive college.
And of course, one of the fun things about it, I always appreciate the fact that the Impact leaders have to learn about the campus. They become something like, you were once an Impact leader yourself. So that process of becoming some of the most knowledgeable people on campus it may be draining, but I guess it makes you a little bit better student in the long run, right?
Yeah, typically most of the Impact leaders walk away from this and they say, I never knew how much I could know about Troy. And you just learn things. They get to soak it all in. We have student services come in, the Eldridge Center, we have different departments come in, any sort of service that a student could utilize here on campus, we want our Impact leaders to know about, because by no fault of their own, they become that sounding board to the new students. They look up to them, they admire their leadership abilities, and it's one of the first faces of a student that they get to meet. They get to talk with all of us in the admissions office, and we talk to them about all of these great opportunities, but then they get to see students who have actually lived that and experienced it, and so they really admire their Impact leaders and they trust their guidance. And so we want to make sure that they are trained with all of the most accurate information in order for them to give that to the new incoming students, and they'll stay consistent. As an Impact leader myself, I had students who I knew all throughout their 4 years of school, and they continued to ask me questions or different things as I learned them and as they navigated through college. So they are definitely great wealth of knowledge about Troy.
And of course, one of the main things to talk about this year is the schedule. And in the last 3 years, it's been a completely different schedule, from tradition to COVID to what we are this year. And now, talking about this year's schedule, because obviously we're still making that COVID transition, but things are a little bit better than it was last summer, right?
Yeah, so we're still a one-day, just to accommodate for sleeping arrangements and cleaning protocols and all of that. We had, Impact takes a lot of coordination and a lot of planning, so we have to do that months out. And so in order for us to have the ability to make it the best experience for these students, we had to kind of make some decisions early on. And so we did a lot of research and we did a lot of planning, and we felt like the one day was the best way to serve our students and still give them the information that they needed. They are registering for their classes in person, so they'll get to actually physically meet with their advisor from the John W. Schmidt Center for Student Success. So they'll get to meet with those advisors and start that relationship, because throughout their whole first year of school, they're going to be continuing to meet with those advisors. So we want to create that relationship as early as we can, but we still had to accommodate for some space and those kind of things. So they're still able to get to meet students at the browse session. They're still able to meet with their academic department, that if they've declared their major, they're going to start learning about those professors and all of the things that Troy has to offer through those departments. So they're getting a lot of information. We still have our parent session, so parents and family members and guests can come to that and learn what they need to know from Tiffany Schmidt. So she'll be able to lead them through that. So we wanted to keep a lot of those very important aspects, but still accommodate it in that day. Still, being respectful of people's space and time and the amount of money that they're investing into their college experience. So there was a lot of thought and a lot of process that went into it, and I really am excited for the schedule that we came up with, and I feel like we have everything necessary for a student to be successful.
And of course, and that registration element that you added in that first day, that used to be the second day of Impact back for as long as the Impact has existed. Second day was registration. Bringing that all in on that one day just streamlines the entire process.
Yeah, it does, and there are a few things that we did have to cut out, and I fully believe we'll kind of bring those things back in as we go into a new year of planning. But we did kind of cut out a few things, not anything that we felt was pertinent to the student, but this way they can leave and they say, I have scheduled my college classes and I am ready to come for fall on August 11th. So,
and they've seen the campus. That's one of the things. The campus tours are back. That was one thing that got cut out last year. The departmental tours, they were able to, now this year they'll be back in their departments and be able to see where they'll be taking those classes.
Yeah, so they'll be going around. We don't have an official tour, but they're walking across campus the whole time with their leaders, explaining the things that are going on. They do get to meet with those departments and learn about the success stories of the students who have gone through those, and so they really get to start creating those relationships, just like their advisor relationships. They start creating those at Impact.
Well, here's hoping the students take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to get their classes and get ready for Troy. Thanks for joining us here today. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.